fucking go.
Kelton, welcome to your week in hell. I know that it has been a week in hell for all of us, but this is your hell especially. You're sitting inside of an office room, no windows to the outside. It's some sort of conference room that's inside of the building. Lights overhead, big, really long dry erase board. What's written on it? God knows what. There's probably a dick in the corner somewhere.
Classic Jerry.
Couldn't get it off because it hasn't been used in so long that it just fully dried on there. Nobody actually has like the spray for keeping these boards very clean. TV at one end, little coffee station at the other end. You are on a committee created by Joe Biden to help resolve the conflict between the railroads and the unions. So you've been here since June, and it is now past Thanksgiving.
This is a long time to be stuck in this room.
It has been from 4th of July to Thanksgiving that you have been in this room every day. Your fingernails are chewed further down than you could have imagined possible when you first took this assignment. You have not had dental or optical coverage for 6 months.
I'm losing benefits while negotiating.
You're actively losing benefits because you're on this. And your pay is definitely not enough for this bullshit. Clearly, standoff style, on one side of the table, there are 3 railroad executives. The top dogs, the big guns, and on the other side are 3 railroad workers. These would be union whips, so maybe not necessarily the highest managers, but certainly the most respected men and women who represent these railroad companies.
Got it. Okay, and what's my objective here?
You're holding a paper in front of you with the proposal. There's one big, it's like a pie chart where like everything that they agreed upon is in the bottom, and then there's one that neither of them, like the one says that we won't do it without this, and the other side says we won't do it with this.
Got it. Okay.
And that is of course the paid sick leave extension, which adds 7 days of paid sick leave.
For illnesses and family emergencies, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And also it removes the eligibility requirement for sick leave. And normally if you were not sick for more than 4 days, it would not count as sick leave. It would count as personal time.
Okay. All right. So I gotta massage this situation here about what's going on. Let me ask, am I smarter than I am persuasive? Me smart? No, me talk good. No.
You talk good. You're probably a lawyer type, so in this situation I'd say you probably have like a plus 4 to persuasion.
Okay.
Maybe I could see it being you have if this is like the thing that you do, you would have proficiency.
Okay.
So we could say up to like a plus 8 to persuasion.
Oh my. Okay. No pressure, but with a plus 8 in certain cases, that would be real bad. All right. I'm gonna want to talk to the union whips first.
Of course.
Going to want to first of all, thank them for their service. Treat them like troops, because that's, I guess, my last negotiation that I was a part of. And so old habits die hard. Even if we're at this table, and again, like you've mentioned, we've been at this table, all of us, for the past 6 months, I still open yet again with thanking them for their service.
You open the morning, like you already scalded your tongue with your coffee, so it's not going great.
It's all tingly, burning in the back of my mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. You're thanking them for their service, for working through Thanksgiving, of course.
Yeah.
Because while you've had almost a week off.
Exactly. If you guys had personal time off, I guess you wouldn't have taken that then. That joke didn't go over well. Okay, so
well, look, mister, we're just trying to get this wrapped up before the real Christmas rush strikes, because as you know, trains move a shitload of cargo across the U.S.
I completely understand that, and I do think it's important that we try and strike a deal, get some sense of resolution here done sooner rather than later.
And we really feel like we're requesting the bare minimum.
You're asking for a week,
7 more days of paid leave.
So I mean, but let's try and break that down though, because you're asking for 7 days. Each day is made up of 24 hours, right? So that you're asking for like 168 hours off total, right? That's kind of what the request is.
Well, technically, our maximum work hours each day would be 12 hours. So 12 times 7 would be 96.
Got
84.
Got it. Okay. I mean, I'll take that even. So, if we're talking, 7 times 12 here, like you said, that's 96.
84. Sorry.
84?
84. 7 times 12? Yeah.
Listen, again, I'm very persuasive, but I'm not good at math, apparently. I'm so glad we came to this breakthrough 6 months into this negotiation, because that's a wonderful way to just lop off 12 hours there. They'll be ecstatic when I tell them it's 84, not 96. That's a major concession.
No, actually, that is his 160 hours. We'd like the record to state that it's 160 hours, because there are 24 hours in a day.
All right, so glaring at the one nerd looking, trying to capitalize on my error here. So we have 84 hours, and when you break that down into things, what we're looking at is 302,400 seconds, right? So that's the amount of time that we're trying to work with and negotiate around. And let me ask
one of those
you
second CO peoples. We're trying to work with some of the largest railroad companies in the nation that have an important job to keep our economy open.
Absolutely. No one is talking about how important your job is or isn't. In fact, we want you on the job more than you want to be on the job. That's how important we think you are, that we can't afford to have you not working there. So here's my question to you. After 302,400 seconds with your family, wouldn't you feel like you would start to grow tired of them? Maybe you would get bored of them. Maybe you would want to, I don't know, kick back, relax, maybe cruise around for a little bit, maybe cruise like in one specific direction for, like you said, 12 hours on end. Doesn't that sound like a great way to unwind?
One of the second railroad representatives says, sir, respectfully, we love our jobs. We could not be more enthused about getting on the rail, getting on an engine and riding for 12 hours of our shift, and then going to sleep, presumably, and then waking up and doing 12 more hours watching the dials in the engine.
That's wonderful. So you just want to do 12 hours, go to bed, work another 12 hours. I like your attitude. That is, if that's what you want to do and just do that, we can make that happen. Well, we'll get rid of all personal time and sick leave to make sure that you can focus entirely on working 12 hours and being asleep for 12 hours.
No, hang on. I'm saying is I'd like to do that.
Great. Then, I think we have a deal then.
And then after any amount of time, I feel like would be able to then apply to have paid time off. Or if I got sick while in the middle of such a stint, I would also be allowed to take that time off.
Yeah, I get it. But like when you're sick, how do you spend your time when you're sick?
On the train for 12 hours at a time.
But is there a reason why you don't want to? Like, that seems like a pretty cool thing to do. Like you said, there's nothing you would rather do for 12 hours. So that seems like a great way to pass the time, to get over getting sick, would be just hanging out in a train compartment and driving.
Do you like getting on trains when you're sick?
I am not sure about, can I roll for, I don't know, like a backstory involving a train, like tragic backstory? Is that something I could see?
Yeah. What's your tragic backstory with the train? You can just tell me one.
Okay. My father was killed by a train. His father was killed by a train. His grandfather was killed by a train. There's no love lost between my family and trains, and so I don't want trains to win. That's my character motivation.
Okay. Jesus Christ. The railroad hand says, well, my father died because of an illness that he didn't treat, and his father before him died because of an illness that he didn't treat. And so I really feel like whenever I'm sick, I should go get my illness treated by a doctor.
And you know what? I think that that's great. I think that if you have one illness, you should get that treated. So you know what? 8 hours right there that you can take care of it. But let's talk about like family emergencies here, right? Because you're working 12 hours a day every day, grinding away on those shifts. I mean, are you really going to be the first person your family reaches out to in the case of a family emergency? Like you're on the train. There's only so much you can do.
Well, if my wife is hurt, then there would be nobody else but me.
If your wife gets hurt, that's what the neighbor Jason is there for. He's the one that's hanging out, playing catch with your son while you're working. He's the one that'll be there to comfort your wife in the hospital and do all those things that you're not able to do because you are taming the beasts that are these trains.
You think that Jason is spending all that time with my kids?
I do. I think Jason might be spending a little bit more time with your wife, and I think it might be good to give like, I don't know, a trial of separation an idea. Maybe like you just stay working on the train and let your family do what might be best for them in this troubling time.
Roll persuasion for me. Let's roll a d20 and see.
Okay. 12.
+8. That's a dirty 20. This railroad worker kind of goes silent after you say this.
No.
And the second one pipes up and says, "Wait, so you mean to tell me that I've been given all my time to ride in these trains, and that my children have grown up without me, moved out, gone to college, and now have children of their own, and I barely get to see their children growing up because of this job?"
You know what? Yes, I am. And it's a travesty that it happened this way, but I don't think 7 extra days of sick leave would have fixed the issues in your relationship. I think it would have taken a lot more than that. I think that maybe sometimes people meet each other at different seasons of their life. And we just need to live and let go. That's an important thing for us to focus on here with the trains. Trains and relationships are kind of the same when you think about it. There's a lot moving forward in one direction. And although it may take a lot of time to slow things down, and it might be potentially dangerous.
All of the CEOs are nodding their heads with you.
Might even be potentially dangerous for the rails to change direction and for you to try and change course. If you choose to do that on your own, you aren't thinking ahead. You have to follow the plan. You need to follow the rails that are ahead of you. And those rails say that you are a worker. You're a wonderful cog in the machine, and you don't need any days off for sick leave because you are feeding the eternal
because
engine.
We're taking all the days off. All 3 of the workers stand up and say, "You're right. 7 days isn't enough." As of this moment, we're on strike. We're taking the rest of the year off. You convince them. You convince them that it wasn't enough days. One of the CEOs grabs your hand and says, "Oh my God, it's like you understood. That was the exact problem I had with my ex-wife. We were just, 2 trains in the night."
2 trains passing in the night. I'll train metaphors with these people. I saw myself as more of a freight train carrying all this baggage around with me. And I should have been more of a passenger train carrying people along with me and focusing on the stories that exist inside. Yes, yes.
Actually, it was the opposite for me and my wife. Like, she had all the baggage, and I was a bullet train, man. I was just focused.
That's fantastic. I guess I was unfamiliar that rail workers on bullet trains were striking at this time, but I think that's really cool and good for you to remember.
The union members have left the room, and but you the CEOs are all in here. You open your briefcase to start putting away your papers for the day, and you see the grenade that you have that you have been bringing with you for the past few weeks. There's no better time than now.
I am going to roll to try and just casually walk out of the building in shame. I want to see if I can do that.
Do you break? Like, if you break, or if you just leave the building?
Like a coward.
I just walk out, hopefully without something going off.
Okay.
Oh shit! I rolled a 1.
Oh, that's your wisdom saving throw. Without thinking, you pull the pin on the grenade and throw it right into the lap of the CEOs. The negotiations did not go well this time.
Mass chaos exists after the bombing of 3 robber railroad barons.
It was blamed on the union workers, and you have started off the Second Pinkerton War against unionized Americans.
Great, another success for me. And train Therapy Johnson. That's my character's name. That's what I